Oh, how you guys doing? James here. Well, um, I gotta. Usually I do topics about this race thing, but this time it's gonna be kind of hilarious because it's going. This time I got two videos, and they're not gonna be that long. It talks about what these men did. This one young woman got, and what these these American white men did for these South Africans, these white South Africans, and you see what how much appreciation that they show. But it was hilarious as hell. But I'm gonna take you to the video. And they were complaining. They was all about feeling bad for them white South Africans, so they're gonna put them up at home and everything. And you see how the way they repaid them. Because of the whole Mandela thing, and they feel like white people were getting, unjustly due. So they being the white savior to other white people, got an unexpected pleasure. Watch this video; it's gonna crack you up. Shout out to her channel, Ivita. I think that's her name is. Yes, that situation being reversed is bad. So apparently there is a particular group, that nationality of white people that other white people do not like. Today we're talking about white on white crime. Let's get into it. I know some of us are already taking wild guesses, wondering what particular group of people do other white people not like? Is it the Russians? Or no, probably it's the Italians. Or it's white Americans. No, it's definitely white Americans. Well, to answer these questions and to start off this very entertaining video, I want to share with you guys a very interesting clip that has been making its rounds on TikTok.
I'm in the process of sponsoring a family that is fleeing South Africa due to the white genocide. I am not going to let a white group of people suffer and not help them because I've been bullied into not giving a shit. That ain't me. Wrong dude. Don't care. These people want to be Americans. They don't want to be South Africans anymore because that country was given over the minute that sucking communist Mandela was let out of prison. They're going to live in my house and I'm going to feed him and take care of him.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Suffice to say that I got involved in the abuse of the minority white race in South Africa a couple of years ago. Got heavily involved. Ultimately ended up sponsoring a family of four and helped facilitate them from Africa. Obviously, it turned out bad. They did play me, and they admit. In fact, that was one of the things they said was. They're bragging about how they played me like a sport game. I spent over $30,000 in that 11 months in money and fed and clothed them. So I might be stupid enough to have fallen for that because I thought with my heart instead of my head. You know what? They cost me a lot of money when they were here. Suck and parasite and use people, and then when they're done, they just, go on to the next victim. When they talk to me, it's like, hey, we're a good family. We own a business, and we're hard-working people. And when we get to America, the way we'll pay the rent will be we'll work for you guys. All right. If anything, we had to work 10 times as hard just to take care of these people. I mean, in 11 months, I got my grass cut 3 times. One time ended up being in a huge argument. Everything free. Lay around, watch TV, and watch movies for 11 months.
Those are the white people I'm talking about. First of all, can we talk about how Bob, let's call him Bob, right? Can we talk about how Bob's voice changed? The tone. If you compare both videos, he became humble. They humbled him. They literally used Bob for his resources and the Japan. Does it sound familiar? So apparently, the colonizers in South Africa are even worse than the ones in America. These people legit use this man for his resources. And after they had sucked him dry, they ran. The exact same thing they did to us when they got here. They did it to him in America. This is colonizer on colonizer crime, I tell you. This video too goes with me. All learned the hard way. And I love this football. I love this football.
They would think black people be that.
And he took these people in thinking he was taking in people that had heads. And you saw how he was speaking in the beginning of this video. He was so energetic, enthusiastic about helping these people. He was excited, talking about the white genocide going on in South Africa and how he's going to help these white people. He don't give it and all of that. He was talking all that game. Oh, let's meet these people. That's what they did. Like I said, I love this football. I absolutely love this football. And we're not even going to be discussing that whole white genocide that's happening in America. We know all that is propaganda. We've talked about that before on this platform several times, right? But this is the purpose, though, of why they spread that propaganda. So they can, get into the hearts or the minds, the conscience of other white people. Because it's only them that can fall for all of that BS. Everybody on the continent knows it's a lie. White people are their target audience. And not only are they spreading this propaganda, they are even using it to scam their own people. And then you heard what he said about Mandela, how he spoke about the man. For crying out loud, Mandela is an indigenous African man who was in his country, imprisoned by the colonizers. But then somehow he is the bad guy in this story. Somehow in this man's head, Mandela is the one with the problem. Not the colonizers who came in and, were fighting, unaliving these people, taking over their lands, their resources and all of that. Mandela, the man fighting for the liberation of his people, is the one that is in the wrong in this man's head. It's just the lies these people have over the years told themselves, so much so that now they believe their own lies. It's just the colonizer in these people. Like a good sis said all the time on TikTok, it is in them, not on them. I believe it's safe to say this white South African stopped Bob a lesson he would not soon forget. They humbled him so bad, he lost the energy in his voice. He was so humble. I love me some colonizer on colonizer crime. I love me some white on white crime. There are some tweets that I came by and I want to share with you guys as well, because apparently Bob's situation isn't very unique. White South Africans are going around the planet and they are making a reputation for themselves. Let's get into the streets, okay? This one is from Brad and he says, in New Zealand, there's only 2 types of people we will not tolerate. The first one is racist and the other is white South Africans.
Oh, New Zealand.
Those people are the effing worst. When are we marching and holding peaceful protests against those efforts? Have you met one? The worst. I am absolutely sick of white South African nationals immigrating to Aotearoa and having an immediate negative opinion on everyone who isn't white. Shut the F up! You do not get a say on things you don't know anything about. Why not head to Holland if you hate it so much? They don't even want them in the country. Not only do they want them to shut the F up, they want them gone. Holland, you take them, we can't handle this. You've traveled the world and met many people in different places. You will learn that white South Africans are arrogant and entitled. This is from Thomas and he says, after a couple of years of working in hospitality, you start to develop an almost supernatural sixth sense for if a customer is going to be rude or difficult, going off very slight, almost imperceptible cues like a South African accent. Wow. The Bible says, by their fruits you shall know them. But I guess when it comes to white South Africans, you know them by their accents, followed by their fruits. And then Thompson responded back to Thomas by saying, yup. Every time a white South African walks into my office, set time out for 30 seconds. Let me tell you how blinks are ruining my country.
Sometimes it can feel like there's no way out of treatment-resistant depression. You take
people doing in the abroad? Other white people from other countries also don't like our white people. Beautiful to watch. Beautiful and sad to watch. Because now, these people are going to be stuck in South Africa. If nobody wants them nowhere, then they have nowhere else to go. Right? It's beautiful. Makes me laugh. But at the same time, it's sad. Very, 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 very sad. Europe, come and carry your descendants. Come and carry your people. Take them, however it is they are, they are your people. You can't be denying them. Well, I guess from the way things are looking like, all they have left, or who they have left to rely on that would have their back is Elon Musk. Elon can take them with him to Mars or wherever it is in hell in space that he's planning on going to. Until Elon go shock us, tell us, say, nah, me too don't want them.
I'm in the UK and people don't particularly like them here either. Even New Zealanders loathe them. They are very embarrassing. Your brand of racism has to be extremely crass to even be loathed by Australians and the likes. Truly ghetto.
This is why they say you have bad character, change. Change your bad character. It's very important that people are telling you that your character stinks. You work on it. Say now, the black people don't want you, your own people don't want you, nobody wants you.
Damn.
Why are just there in the wind, homeless? Even your nation, your native land, Europe have said, this one's, it's beyond us. There's nothing we can do, they're far gone. These ones are far gone, they're even worse than we are. It's bad, like, even when
you can always go to Ukraine.
Complaining about another people. Anyways, guys, see, I had a blast with this video. I just want to have fun. Let me know down below in the comment section what you think about this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm so excited to be back. And of course, as always,
Don't bet against Cleveland.
Wait till you see this next one. This one's Phil.
Don't bet against the Natty. Today, on the bread machine.
So you have a woman that's, from South Africa, she's a white lady, and one thing that she's going to discuss is how the white supremacists are the same everywhere they go. Everywhere they go, they're the same. Even in South Africa, they're the same way. Now, I want you to hear exactly what she says, who they're blaming for all their problems. They're not blaming themselves. Well, let's go ahead and roll that.
You've got those white South Africans that think that they're doing South Africa a favor by staying here, even though they hate their fellow South Africans, and also blame everything, their whole life, misfortune on black people. But the truth is, those that cannot leave here don't have much skills, also don't have the money to leave. Okay, it's not because they love South Africa. They'd skedaddle as quick as possible. But the racist ones that do have money and a bit of skills, they get to go overseas. Okay, so they immigrate, and everyone freaks out about our immigration. But let me give you just an example of the type of people that immigrate regarding race. So this was a tweet that started off a thread of comments from people across the world. And it's about white South Africans that get to other countries. This is, for instance, West Auckland, New Zealand, and can't shut up or hide their racism when they get there. They think if they see a white person there that they can be as racist as what they are in South Africa. Here are a few responses to this person's thread. Only white South Africans could find a new country that none of us knew existed and piss off everybody there shortly after arriving. I remember driving through the Free State near Bloemfontein and stopping in some small-town bar for some food. Got chatting to Afrikaans bloke behind a bar and asked him the population of the town. About 500 whites was the reply. Actually made me gasp. This guy is from the UK. I've never met a white South African who wasn't like this. My partner is from South Africa, white, but not Afrikaans, which is apparently worth distinguishing. And it's got to the point where he doesn't tell people he's South African because people assume things. Why are so many of them like that? And without shame. Oh, Jesus. You should hear them over here in Oz in Beachside Beer Gardens complaining about the servant problem. God give me strength. I worked as a white South African. First day of work, Nelson Mandela had died the day before, ensuring ensuing conversation, me, it said about Nelson Mandela crying, he was a terrorist. I lived in Browns Bay, which is a South African stronghold. You will not believe the blatant racism in the local Facebook pages. And their comment section goes on and on. And the thing is, that it's white people talking about South Africa's white people. It is crazy.
Shout out to this, lady here that's exposing, the racism out there in South Africa. But it seems like even other white people don't like they behind. and I remember a few years ago, I was talking about that. Why didn't all of them go back to their homeland in the Netherlands? And I remember a few years ago, I had got an email from a lady from the Netherlands. And she had said at the time that we don't want them here. We don't want nothing to do with them. They need to stay down there where they at. She viewed them as trash. And boy, she did not have nothing good to say about them down there in South Africa. They didn't want them back at all. Because I said the worst mistake that Nelson Mandela made was to not broker a deal with the Netherlands to take them back. I'm like, look, they should have said, hey, we got free flights for you. So you can go on back to your homeland, you don't have to be here. Because as long as a lot of, you still have that remnant of apartheid that's with those people. That's why they have all this animosity, and trust me, they can't stand that black people is in the government. They can't stand black people as the police. They always complain, and everything about the government. Well, why are you complaining so much? Oh, well, it was better during apartheid. I'm pretty sure it was for you, but not for my brothers and sisters. And South Africa is a beautiful country, man. Like I said, we went back in March. It was my first time taking my children and my wife to South Africa, and they just all loved it. They loved it. We had a great time. Shout out to Mark and Dr. Latasha Blanton in Real South Africa. They definitely helped us facilitate a lot of things while we was there with my family. And yeah, like I said, I love South Africa. I tell y'all that's definitely one of my favorite African countries. And I definitely could move to South Africa. But I've always said that I would like a place in South Africa and Kenya. I would live somewhere in Nairobi and somewhere in Johannesburg. So far I like those two countries. But South Africa, definitely is one of my favorites. Sandton. Well, it's nice down there in Sandton. So, they don't like to see that. So some of them white supremacists that's over there. Why are you crying? Why are you acting like a victim? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Right. It's not black people's fault. It's your fault.
Right.
While you're in the situation that you're in. So some of your other brethren left, right? Because they can afford to leave, because they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. I guess you didn't. Maybe if you work hard and stop being lazy and stop using race for everything, maybe you can actually get somewhere in life. Like, you think other black people in South Africa isn't struggling too? They get themselves up every morning early to go to work. I was telling the story about how some of the brothers and sisters in Soweto, how they get up real early to go into Johannesburg to go to work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have to catch a couple of rides, and they riding kind of like equivalent like a taxi, but it's like a little van thing they all riding. I mean, they do what they got to do. You don't hear them, see them crying and complaining. Now, of course, people talking about the load shedding, load shedding, that wasn't cool. And for those of you in America who don't know what the load shedding was, so basically, load shedding is at certain times of the day. They had an Eskom app. Eskom is like their light company, and they had an app, and you download the app, you put in your location, and it'll tell you when load shedding is gonna happen. So let's say like they're gonna load shed from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. right? So at 11 a.m., boom, all the lights go out, and it's not gonna come back on to 12:30. And you're like, so that's inconvenient, especially if you're paying your bill, right? So in some places, they was load shedding more than others. So it pissed people off. And while I was there, they did have like a national day of protest, doing some of the load shedding and jobs and things like that. And that's just not cool. I believe that since South Africa is part of BRICS, that maybe they should ask China and Russia and India and all different places to maybe help them with that situation since you're part of BRICS? Why not? That's what I would do. I'll lean on those other countries and say, hey, man, what we got to do to get this thing fixed?
Right.
But all in all, with even those problems, I still love South Africa. It's a beautiful country, peaceful, with the people. People try to complain on South Africa. Oh, they got crime in America. Got plenty crime. At least South Africa, you talking about their crime, they don't have nobody airing out schools in South Africa. You don't have nobody going to the mall and airing out the place for people shopping. You don't see that happen in South Africa. So, yeah, every nation on the earth got crime. I mean, so why do you think South Africa's crime is worse than what they got going on here in America? But yeah, you know how they are, ladies and gentlemen. The white supremacists are always complaining. Always. You know what I'm saying? And, to the people that's cool out there, even some of the white South Africans, a couple of them I ran into, it was cool as ice, I'm cool with anybody that's cool with me. I'm a firm believer that I have no hate for nobody. Because hatred is cancer of the soul. But if you treat my people wrong, I'm going to be against you. You better believe that. So I definitely got to get back to South Africa much sooner than later. I'll probably be back out there in a few more months. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about what this lady's talking about. Some of my brothers and sisters from South Africa who's watching. Because y'all are the #1 channel on the African continent that watch our platform and appreciate South Africa for doing that. What y'all think about what this lady is saying?
Find great stays across the USA.
Vacation ideas?
How about a resort with a pool?
I was thinking house.
Yeah, that's really interesting about them going over there, running around and complaining. That's terrible. That they haven't really adjusted to their mentality. That there's other people in the world. It's even like it was some Ukrainians that were doing that stuff, man. They got over to England. They start with that bullshit after they get their country bombed. I mean, that's crazy as hell, man. What's all these people with this world?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is paying attention. I hope you are ready for this broadcast.
Before we go to this, I gotta show you this. Oh my goodness! Speaking of that, this guy, the President Zelensky, wondering asked why Africans don't help. After the way he treat they people treat them, and on top of that, he has white supremacists in his army, and he don't understand why. I'm gonna show you this video, man. It tripped me out. Like, what would the Russians look like? What was some fight against the Russians? And you alongside some racist people. And he asked the question. I mean, it's hilarious. In a way, it's kind of like he goofy, and it's hilarious at the same time. Like, why would you have white supremacists in your doggone in your army fighting the Russians? It's like, what's wrong? I don't understand why Africa would help us. And then you turn around, your representative turn around and call, when he's trying to make peace with you and Russia, you call them a bunch of animals and shit. But I'm gonna show you this video, man. I'm like, are you serious? He called them and said, I don't understand why they don't want to help us. And they they dog those people, man. When a lot of people came from different African countries, they wouldn't let them get out, made them stand on the bus, make them get off the bus and walk miles and miles in the cold, pregnant women. They said it was so bad that they had they would let the dogs before they did. And they wondering why black people don't want to come and fight for them. I mean, it was crazy, man. It's like, I said, dude, are you serious? And them African leaders try to come in and maybe try to talk to Putin to stop the humanity of for the Russian army, Russians and Ukrainians stop fighting, so they stop bombing the hell out of each other. And these fools turn around and say some stupid shit to leaders. What they come over here for? They don't know nothing about the war. I'm like, wow. But yeah, it was crazy, man. Where's that video at? I mean, I said, don't help them do shit. If that's their mindset, don't give them nothing. Let the white nations help their ass out. Since they're not these black folks too inferior to help you. I mean, I know they was trying to be the humanitarian thing, and maybe talk to Putin like, hey, can you kind of let up? But no, it was Zelensky and his people. Because people, the whole world's looking at this war, man. People getting bombed the fuck out, and you got people got time to be racist in the middle of a damn war. That's why I said it's unbelievable, man. That I'm gonna fight alongside some skinheads and shit because they got some Hitler ideology about being white, and stuff like that. They on there making groups and shit. Like you out your damn mind. No, they wanted being violent. Let them die by this hand of their own sword. Shoot, let them be a soldier since they want to practice that on innocent people. See how much a man they really is. And when it comes to war, because they ain't gonna do that to the Russians and all them other people. And it's the Russians that kicking their butt. I mean, his army's wiped out. Where's that video? Damn, where's that video? Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, are you serious? I don't understand why the Africans don't want to help them out, but you made their citizens walk out there in the freaking cold. And then, the doctors were stressed out. Maybe the people would have helped out, but no, they didn't want nobody black helping them out. They were training. And maybe some lives could have been lost, but since they want to be a bigot, see, nobody like to talk about stuff like that. They don't want to talk about that stuff. They just want you to gear on one thing, but damn. Overall, it's just dumb to be racist, that's all. Yeah, it's just crazy. When he asked that question, he couldn't understand why he wouldn't get no help from the African countries. Dude, you got Nazis. You need to get all them Nazis to fight for you. And all the white separatists and shit. Let them die for the cause. Why are you asking blacks to die for your cause? And you want to be the inferior people on the planet, the superior people on the planet? No, that's not the way it goes. Yeah, that was funny. I didn't want to do a real long video. I can't find that video. Yeah, I cracked up when I seen that. Here it is. Here's the video.
Here is your latest Africa news. Ukraine's president is confused to why Africa isn't supporting Ukraine, despite history of racism. In a recent interview with journalists from Africa, conducted since the commencement of the Russia-Ukraine war, Ukrainian President Zelensky is bewildered by Africa's lack of support for Ukraine, despite its history of racism toward Africa.
Right.
The Ukrainian government has been pondering why African countries, with a few exceptions, have exhibited hesitance in siding with Ukraine. Given that Africa constitutes a quarter of the member states within the United Nations, with its countries spanning numerous geopolitical spectrums, this issue holds significance. Zelensky seeks to depict Ukraine's conflict with Russia in a manner that might garner sympathy from African audiences, portraying it as a struggle for independence against a ruthless empire. This indeed signifies Russia's colonial aggression towards Ukraine. Many of your ancestors endured similar trials, he asserted. However, when it comes to engaging with Africa, the Ukrainian president's proficiency has not been on par with his interactions with audiences in the rest of the Western world. He has repeatedly encountered barriers preventing him from addressing the African Union and the parliaments of various African countries during his global charm offensive. When questioned about the multiple instances of racism faced by African students in Ukraine, where they were denied access to evacuation routes during the early stages of the war or subjected to discriminatory treatment while seeking safety, Zelensky commented that these were isolated incidents that occurred amidst the chaos of war. He asserted that his government had made every effort to safeguard all individuals, irrespective of their race or nationality.
Bullshit.
Please understand, I empathize with them equally, whether they are Ukrainian or African students. We are committed to persevering, he expressed, referring to the African continent. Let us know in the comments below if you found this video informative. Please show your support by liking and sharing this video for the YouTube algorithm.
He lying. He lied, man. I did a video about that. He lied. When it, like I said, when they went over there and tried to solve, to try to break up the conflict between Russia, they want Russia, they want them to come and have attack Russia. But yet Russia was really fighting Zelensky because Azov, and I did a video about it. You got Nazi skinheads, which the media don't want to tell us about. And they try to hush that down about. Now get this, man. He's a Jewish descendant of Jews of the people who came from Nazi Germany and they went in Ukraine. How does that look? A Jewish president would half your citizens think that Hitler is like a god, like a messiah figure. When Hitler tried to his idea was to wipe out 3/4 of the human race, so they can bring a certain criteria of blonde, Aryan, white wasp. What kind of stuff is that? And they don't think highly. And then when they proved the Aryan race around the time of when Jesse Owens raced and he beat his track star fairly to prove that the Aryan, he dispelled that Jesse Owens came from a people that was animalistic. Yeah, so this is what the Ukrainians look up to. This is what Hitler was all about. So he not only he exterminated Jews, he practically did things to blacks and homosexuals and any Catholics and different individuals to maintain a master race. So you got Ukrainians over there and under white supremacy being the master race. Okay? That were part of his army. Okay? That's going to go fight against the Russia. What do Africa look like going over and fight along some side? And you have some stupid individuals out of England and other places that want to fight alongside somebody who who has white supremacists in their army. That means you can't trust them. They can easily kill you and say that it was an accident or whatever. What kind of shit? Are you serious? So my thing is like, why don't you get all your white brothers? Hell, get some of the one down in South Africa. Get the ones that can skinheads down in some parts of Brazil and other places that will believe in your ideology, the Azos ideology. I mean, come on, get them from all the far right places in Europe, and to fight the Russians. I mean, let's see how this Hitler thing rise up. I mean, ain't you bad, right? I mean, if they are that bad, heck, man, get some skinheads and Klansmen from America come fight it to preserve the Aryan race. And train over and say, yeah, we white people, we about to go into existence and all this stuff. And we got to fight because this man is trying to knock us into existence. Why are they not going over there? Why is that? To preserve the white Aryan race. Hey. And really, Putin is crushing Azov and their army. He's gonna crush it, and him and his allies. So they're gonna turn their back, half the Africa, and then Putin forgave Africa their debt, and he's an ally with them, and trying to gonna work with them to help them out. You think they're gonna turn against for you? What do you offer? And then we know and then think about the term NATO, what it stands for. That's the reason why. So yeah, why should anybody come over and help fight in your country? Well, we treat them better. That's not what they said. That was walking 30 miles in 0-degree weather. Yeah, they remember that the different people came from Africa, with the Nigerians, the Cameroonians, and all them different people. And they could, instead of you to treat them right, them doctors would have some help to help out those wounded people that were over there. But even in the Red Cross said they're not used to seeing black people. Yeah, the Red Cross said that. They had a note that don't be surprised. So you so concerned about they're not used to seeing the people. Look, I don't give a damn what kind of people. I said, if I'm in the country and we getting bombed the heck out, and I'm injured, and the last thing I'm caring about is some individual in the color of his skin. But even in the midst of it, then you have some of these Ukrainians that went over to England and they couldn't understand was put in neighborhoods, and she said she's not used to deal with all these different people. Some Ukrainians was acting like this. So hold up. So people putting their life on the line, sending money and care capital to you with some certain people, and that's the things that you get. I'm not saying that not all Ukrainians, but it was some Ukrainians. Like, are you serious? Your country is about to get wiped off the planet, and God spares you. And the last thing you think about is worry about some. This is how deep it is. Like, for real. But yeah, Zelensky, no, call out the white nations. Don't call on the African nation to fight your battle. Azov need to get some more of their brothers from across the world to fight against the Russians, the Chechens, and all them other ones. Let them have a battle out. Since they want to die by the book, they want to fight by the bullet and sword and all their weaponry and all that self-defense fighting. I said, hey man, I think they should send some over there from America, because ain't that their brother? Ain't they believing in the same white supremacist ideology as Hitler? Hey, them your brothers, even though they speak a different language. And I don't understand why. I think they should send enough of them skinheads over there. You want to go over there? Go fight them over there. Fight with your Aryan brothers against Russia. And then some of them are military trained. They survivalists and stuff like that. For what? But to ask other nations? No, let the white nations deal with their own problem. Since you want to be the superior on the planet, let's see how superior you are if you can survive the war. Let's see how superior you really is your regiment, and you're gonna die for the cause. That's how I feel. But yeah, that's hilarious. But it's insane. It's they should have got grabbed some of South Africans as racist as hell. Why don't they go and take that prejudice and take it to the battlefield? Because sometimes I think they would need your help, because from what I understand, they wiping it behind out. But yeah, you can fight alongside them. What I'm gonna look like? Fight alongside some white supremacists and a white nationalist. Are you for real? Seriously? But anyway, y'all. Yeah. But that's this. So that was the hilarious part. That even other people other white people didn't want to deal with the South Africans. That's how. Hey, we got some over here in America like that. They in different parts of this country think just like them white South Africans do. We got some people like that over in America. We're like the second, third racist country with that mentality here. So that's it's almost like not only that, as far as that, white people, it's the same racist ones be making up names. They got a name for everybody. They call them out their name to try to spread out, and so when you get to a conflict with somebody with a different race, you just use a name, and that's the truth. So that's something. But yeah, and as far as I think people should go, and they should go to South Africa. You know, some black people, you should go. You know, like you said, not every place is violent. It's violent over. It's violent over here, but it's not violent everywhere over there. Shoot, if I had a chance to go, I would. But yeah, man. But that was hilarious. The first video that the guys said, man, they came with and ate all food. And he's talking all that mess on camera. He gonna save these people, and he got played. I was cracking up. I'm cracking up right with the heck yeah. Like she said, colonizer with the colonizer. Right. That's what you get for thinking. Because what is, some people see color, man. They see their own, like they improvise with their own. They telling you, but they was the one that did the worst to them when they were in power. Now they can't take because the power reversed back on them. Ain't that something? But they still got little areas. They got one little area out in South Africa. Nothing but white people are allowed. They named their own town after. I made a video about that. They had their own town, and they raised their kids out there. So they segregate themselves off away from the western them cities. They went to all white town. That's what they got it. And good riddance. Who wants to be around some poison? Let that poison stay out there in that town. That's the way. Too bad if they get like that here, don't go in a racist town. For what? And progress them. If they think they're superior and think that they're better than half the country, and don't think another person with a different texture of hair and skin be around them, that maybe can work together, prosper together, they don't need your money. They don't need. You don't need to progress them. You don't fight alongside with them. Let them figure it out. If they're so superior to black people, let them figure it out. Let them. They think that they're so intellectually, and we're supposed to be underneath them. Let them keep believing that shit. See how long that's gonna last. But anyway, I'm about to go ahead and get off this video. But yeah, like and subscribe. But yeah, subscribe to people's video. But yeah, it's hilarious. So hey, if the white South Africans is racist, hey, you better change your attitude. You're in the 22nd, almost in the 26th century. some stuff need to die. Maybe that's telling you people don't want you who look like you. Maybe it's you, not them. Take care.